Good evening, everyone. This is my mood crego. Timing chana hai mood credo kitang may di nungai roi. Do sound button siang laga di mam tang sound check tang to view ba information tang sound button siang na lag from mam tang ebiro. Unju apanta mina class over ya ni hona ba tausi. But we note okay. Thank you for the confirmation. Adi koi class se hona ba tausi ko. So si class se koi na pa ba article tu matang hana haram gi ko. You know. Nelson, okay, sir. Not a note. Writing in uh, writing in class of labor, sir. Not a note. Na haise I come writing in class of labor haise. The winner has kitang elaborate to birakera. Okay. Ngarang di class kanto eh off lagi. Ngarang di class off lagi. Redo Sunday so koi class off tawai bako. Tawje kay no da thabak si sangnadam na Sunday zima di off tawjen off tawa. Ngarang namu kanglien gi kugi technical sing hatay ko. Technical sing so kitang di longer si na ngarang di kanglien gi off tawa ngarang di. No yaring ko jo off si tawta na ba hona ba ni do Sunday si kitang mengang singa ba hatay ko. Do you yinga off ti tawe. So ngasi khoina yingdori ba article this matang hana haram ko ngasi pa bya ba ying bya ba article. It is a growth story needs women at work and have the sima koi pa ji ko sima ne pa bya aduga khoina ngasi RC ma semi na caught on camera na hai ba article this is the same ko on a growth story that needs women at work si hapet tropama intang ni ying bya ba da kai no hai ba kan da semane race to the kale na yes mane ada sigi a growth story that needs women at work se koi ki India si huji koi ki GDP da growth bodi myam lai re na hai da ju ko actually koi na paper da ta ba ga aduga India gi sector le myam jina ne ase mu da uba phang ba ji ga kena bra tra ga chamana ba ne bu kena ri ba myam koi ki India ji growth lai ba ta bod lai ba growth da huji tori ba thoi ba we shi sha gi crisis na hai da re US ka Israel ka side ma da le ga ne Iran jiga side ma le kan thoi ba tori ba which jagi crisis in impact sam na pi ko worldwide in pi but then worldwide in pi ba jida khoi India gi context ju ko financially yamna akai ba pi an have ni ko inflation uji yam tinu wang ni but what was khoi gi growth da growth se later bra na ha ga di le jari ba lei ba growth da nu bi gi jo sa gi role je lei ha ji khangi but then lei ba role je kitang khoi handa ba to wi have ni mostly man ha ni je young women ha ta ko tabak suba ha ta jo sa gi job ki sector da leibanen ha ta ju youth sing da sagi nubi jina mo sagi thabo si phangbei chang order subai chang kitang handai sin da ya bai je an sagi nubi ji haidi moi gi rules ko khare hena lawo ma khak changi habagi article da base ro kan da ibani ko duna sijima yengbai ko paview sijima mayam daga asi khoina RC sima jina caught on camera na habi jima semai ko sijima yenga okay so the first word for today is nasi khoya hamba yengdori ba why je kari no have duma hairage exogenous na have word sini ko exogenous now exogenous khoi thing ni dum ko thene but kitang uncommon word ni ko kun exo hai de khoi khani exo mapan hai bani ko outer ya ba outer ni now exogenous ma je khoi na part of species yeng have kan it is an adjective ko adjective ne le re ado khang de je meaning je khoi na totally yeng have kan the originating or caused by factors outside the system of organism and have an external sim na mapan thong de le ba ko mapan thong de le ba na hai ba gi art ni but the khoi na wahai jing je ko literal ba ma gi art du ka tang khang kan ya bra ba ni ado na ina dom hanjan hai ko literal ba meaning du ka tang yeng dia de have ni ko concept an have am le ba ni na the plus my context and have am le ba ni kari art da kari sense da phases amada or the sentence amada kamina use torino have do adu ma ko yeng da ya de have ni ko that is very important share to was it ko Okay, yaba ma'am. I share to ramjai na share the nama maga changamjai. Ure ko ma'am de Nelson Sagar ure ba ma'am ure ko. Okay, okay. Ena suna kan share the nama maga ne changamjai. So exogenous na ba word se koi na outer mapan na hai bane ba. But wado mapan na hai bazina magi literally bane meaning duni. Ado koi na passage sama da na trust sentence sama da ma di use or kan kari context la igada again hai bane. Okay. So let's try to understand that. Ana mapan hai horofam jo ko oiba natranga sai ne thokan baya ba tholi je kaida mapan doina ko outside the system na jini khoina exogenous service khoina jiba ma khaki form do khoina yeng bagi dagi hento na khoi yeng mo khajang me ko organism jibam lare batabu do si do khoina system na haiba ma kha hairi ko no sai system na hai ta di ahing ba jibu di su ko je batabu do any area ma kha on any part ma khaki mapan oi ba saru na haibu ma khoi khang je ba ko adumai na khoi lo je ba adi mapan thongi oi ba na haiba kan da synonymous oina maga artha manana lobya wise external extrinsic foreign ko adventitious and heaven now see external hariba extrinsic hariba ani jidi koi similar ni ko mapan dum harani now see foreign je koi na mapan habje kamaina chana handoi no habni actually foreign habje to koi alien kind of koi na ai ko lamdam dugi ko native oidaba not native and heaven ko mafam dugi jaga dui oidaba ado ta ding sai koi na samsanu je haje India da water koi state da immigrants ki issue me ko lady immigrants ki issue lei ko infiltration mapalom dagi pa nyam jung lei ko ando sai mapalom di singa koi na foreign national hai ko di foreign mapan ya ko ja odi foreign national hai da de koi gi lamdam jigi India jigi na taw mi jing an have ne ko mapalom di singa pa mi jing ham adugi context logi on foreign have ka anda koi na alien have word siga ne synonymous ne lobo kan da ju mapan gi ho adi mapan gi ko oi ba ha ma gi artha ma ko yauri ba koi gi lam jigi ne manungi chandaba oi da ban ha ma ko yauri ba ko adugi context sense now see advantages mani kitang uncommon ni ko see uncommon ni si exam da ne hang ba yai ko yeng je kamai no ha ba kan advantages na ha je by chance na ha ba ne ba ko chance na by chance thina ba duga not intrinsic hanagi manungi oi na ne masa gi oi na ne yaur ga lak pa ne nat ta ba advantages simson na ko ya ai ching ka ba chapa kan da ai na like ani ugani kana khanda ba se koi kino ji ukul gi siroi hills ha je ko ukul gi koi siroi ching da koi kare ko asagi siroi ching da sali ba siroi je koi ne khangi april gi mid week ta na somewhere may gi ko mid week june bo da thingdara ba da si bo sale ado je july ni ko july tha je koi ji loidore ba august tha hodore ba to august tha hodo kan za ina sagi siroi hills ji kaure ba aduga maton je irom dai somewhere siroi gi ne lily je ai horom ba thingnare ko adon sagi masagi oina haidi yani system du da water ma gani lamdam du ne le season du da ne sagi hobra atadi hodam ne ko adodi intrinsic oitre ko intrinsic oitre ona per chance and has by chance ne thengna ko ne ko advantageous adumai na koi thongji ko sima dai ko ma'am now the mu antonyms mu yeng ase opposite da now endogenous manung inside manung inside intrinsic internal hare intrinsic innate now innate kana je ko inherent kana have do admai lo inherent yauzara ba han dagi inherent han dagi ne yauzara la ba hapchani ngai gi pot ke sune yaudra ba hapchani ngai gi pot ne yaudra ba ko mapan thong gi pot na have do yaudra ba han dagi dum yauzara ga leiba pot singi sense ko na chalaji ko au sigi exogenous have word se koi sigi article se kari context thina ge may be forced to recognize the weaknesses of India's economy due to the West Asia war shock. However, weakness predates this exogenous shock and happening. Which is when a West Asia crisis. Sina periba impact se for India the koi semi londa so do asol me amazing period but the bodu si na weakness predates mangjon a thain dagi amamang dai le habani thain thain na amamang dagi le de habani le ji kamai no ha kan this exogenous shock huji huji khoina phangiba mapan thung yoi ba phangiba sigi ne sapu je sina ta bhan ko sigi amamang dai le re na mapan thung yoi ba sapu ko exogenous shock ya ko smaina koi thungji ko ado sentence ma koi same je sentence ma same kanda exogenous and have word same same the doctor explained that the extra hormones came from an exogenous source doctor na haigi kai haigi ha kanda magi mai halsang de helai ba hormones jing kai lai no ha kanda manung gi oiba pot ne nattaba mapan de la pa ne exogenous source am ka ti mapan thung ge ba meaning outside the body like a pill rather than being produced naturally heaven. Mana sagine chasaluba hidakuma ma ko gulinguma ma tabletuma ma or pill ma khane chasaluba adu madagi ne tholopo hormone gi imbalance ma khani ya bai je duga manungi mai haksang ne sumjaba semjarakpa adu ipodudi oidre heaven. Yani ko the next word amu yengazi. So the second word is ricochet. Now ricochet and have a word so uncommon ko exam the koina yam toin toina ne thina de adu koina daily use zu ngang ma da I da pa da ka hen use ko to de but the do magi art di kari non have kan amu halapa have ni ko amu halapa hai ni adu maji paro speech yeng have kan it is a verb maji verb ko on art di to rebound or bounce off a surface continuously from one point to another me jagam de jagam sun chong ba sida E have a point ne sila amu chong gi ba bi da ko amu su mane halapa mu e da then amu somewhere see the mu chong gi ba ko ya bai jana han tong jin sana ba ne bounce off ko han tong jin sana ba ya bai je adi sagi maji verb ni koina sagi nung ma ko ne langi ko nung ma ko koina langi ton ma thro dore thro dor kan da sagi u hauri ba u amu ka maji pa lo re ba pa lo kan sagi jaga da ne ta ki ne ko ta da ba ado jaga do ne haidu ki ba mu hai ta ko nungje sigi hori ba upami jida sagi aina lange palo kan maji mo haidoga atopa upami ma damu palo ba ko sigi ujida palo ga jaga ja ta bane nattaba yani ko ja amu ai hari ba ujida gi palo ga ne thakto ki bai tare ko atopa jaga ma damu tatki ba chong ki ba adumaina adu sense ta ko khangji ko ana rebound to happening ko natural bounce off and happen anturok pa adi synonyms ko ne khangde ji rebound boomerang glance deflect kan hai now so the rebound ko sange boomerang ko swaina ale ko u gi ko shib ni ko je swaina kon do ni ko la kan ma je ko no kun ba kan da ma je sai ungor kan da same place mu halai ko ya ba je ana boomerang je ko na sai noun ni actually pot amagi meaning ne ko object amagi meaning ni adu ko sai hulura kan da mu sumu halap ya but tabada ma gi essence da verb on je ko na use to be ya heaven like when we throw something if that thing comes back again ko lang thoki ba hungi ba boto amu sumu hale na hai ta di ma ji mu hale ne ya ba mauni na taga ne boomerang na koin hai je ba ya ko deflect su koi khange thak tok ki ba ha bani ko ya ba somewhere kai da no thieng or kan da koin na sana gari ma khak ko tikat na kan na ne thole ya ba speed da thole adu ma je ka kana je median gi soroki median da petang ma ji kakla na thieng ba kan sai ma na chaturi ba ne labi di kai ka ne ba atoba jaga da ko ma ji hundo ka ne ba lang ka ne ba ko ya ba deflect next ko na glance na jam kitang uncommon ni ko glance ko na ha ba kan yeng ba gi perception ni look ha chora pa mo sat law na hek yeng ba ko sat law na yeng ba ne ba ko but the glance na ba je ricochet na ha verb or jaga rebound na ha word si ne kitang essence da mana ba jaga ma ko yauri ba generally ko na glance ba kan yeng ba look to katang ko na ko natte ba do ni ko na je exam da wahai ma ki ma gi primary meaning si kaksena ko ya ra ba ni no ya de ba ko wahai ji secondary meaning na ha ba malai then atoba third meaning then fourth meaning have mani lay ba adu myam do khang da ya de have ne ko kay no exam da hang pa da wahai du ma khakine meaning du katung da tik taro hang ba no hang de ko tu tar ga di glance na have je glance na hai ba wahai je ko na kari no na hai ka da phat law na he hai di ga ni satok pa ba ko sala ga ni khun tok ki ba bi sense ma khak yauri ko okay what are ko na fine je to like throw hai je ba ko throw je ka mai no hai kan sai ne khang ho da na ko instantaneously kind of harakanda do maji mu halak piya ba ko instantaneously amu he phalau ne halak piya ba ko do form the koina glance and habaji use of ko gum ji awna hu ji koina kon the glance and habaji yeng bu katang da yaude oide ko maji salaw ne salaga hun to ki ba adu mu sum halak piya ba adu ya da lei ba ya ko odi antonyms yeng ji opposite word ta odi se mu halak do ni pa lo re leng da bi da ko ta ki bra ta de ado badam thieng ore pa re sum hale oi sidemu leban stop to ne halt anchor akoina ship ta ga jahaz da anchor to bana ko hai jahaz kham dei ni ya ba jahaz do man sagi leidoi ba jaga da ma je kham dei ni ko leng ro en hai ban ya ba adu sense ni stagnate jidu tunga ga leiba leng da ba koina economy da ga hai je ko stagnate kana hai da di ma do growth lei tre ban ko growth lei tre leng re ado ma je mu sagi downfall zum chapra hai ga di chatte but then leiriba jaga leng de leire have ko adu essence ko ngaji ona ricochet have a word it is very uncommon word adu ma je part of space when yeng have the verb ni but simply rebound or bounce off and have ji art ka tang koi samji ko exam the si hang important way Ita maji kari context yawi. In such cases, the file ricochets among a flag state, port, authority, owner, insurer, and Indian mission. Adi si file je si flag state mu chaluba somdagi mone port to mone handolpa adagi mu port tagi mu kaida mu ko pu da mu chatba pu dagi mu kaida insurer da mu chatba so sagi handong jin hata ne ko si a je file je koina a have b ma order e je file je a dagi mu c da mu chatba c dagi mu b da mu thaba b dagi mu e da mu thaba file je adai mu e dagi mu ne d da e da mu lo sum handong jin chana lebu ko ya ba je adugi form da koina khangji reconciliation haisi. Now siga manab da koina sentence ma khak sema je a simple one. The rock bounced off the wall with a loud bang, causing it to ricochet across the driveway has. Naba. Sa koina nungdum ma ka on da nungjaw ma ka has bounce off the wall. Wall dong sa gine tara kanda on the wall da gi thinga kanda ko ma je ta gare. Tara kan sa gi gari thobam jaga da sa gine somi sa mu dum theng ado somi sa mu dum theng 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 ga ne ko nungje paitho sum leire hai bi sen suni ko jaga am da leng da bi tar ga ne lei ki da ba ya ba dumai na koi khangji. Next, the third word is tonnage. Tonnage and have in a magi power special noun ni ko ado mazi am kana uncommon di oide but ko na use to ba jaga da ma di kitang ne specific oi ko kai no ha kan jahaz amana pu ba ba ko jahaz amana ne pu ba magi actual apun ba total weight to hai tare ko na jaga mana sagi jahaz amana chan ba adu sense di waja on the total weight or carrying capacity of shipping express in tons and have often used to gauge merchant navy fleet size of si goes to measure have ni ko on the to measure on ba kya na puba ngami ko kya na chal le na have ni ko on kai no have ka na sagi donation have ji sam na ji ni jahaz man ne puba ngam ma ge ne ko maximum chang do ni ya ba adu ko tang ko ne khangji adu bu jahaz man puba ba maximum chang da na ma gi actual word to gi meaning ne ba but si jega ne mana na ko ne kari context da use of ya ba kam word sing displacement capacity bulk volume kan hai ji ya ba si ma'am jing je ko na contextual point da use of ya ne ba to use of na hai ma ga si ga mana na displacement now see the chan bani capacity bulk volume so khangi displacement si kamai no displacement of water has ko displacement of water jahaz ma the thadare ko samudra da thadaba kan man sai ising khara ko displace to ya ba adin sagi magi weight ama kha on the volume ama kha leitra lei ko chali ko adumai sagi man ju jahaz ama sumaina pick taraga di sing ena ne ko thadobang ngamba ising chang or sumaina chaw taraga di chaw na ne thadobang ngamba ising chang adumai na koi khangji. Next the antonyms ko nang dujana opposite word ta sede sagi pai ga yaudine ba ko maximum ibane capacity do ne ba maximum iba capacity paidagi yamna paidi chawna sibodane puba ngamba order sibodane ko chanba yaba yawba yaba haibane ba yaba do antonyms na kaino emptiness yang hangba yawdraba void wole hoba fraction machet ama srok ama haibane adi somna kanadi completeness ama yawri ko okay completeness ama yawri somna kanana kaino ha kanda yawdaba ihang hangoba ko order yawe haitazu machet makai oina yawba pistone yawba ko full oina as a whole oina yawdaba adu artha da khangasi ko kari context da India's merchant ambitions are usually measured in ports for naval correct deployments and tonnage and now tonnage moi pu ngam jahaz ma na kya me na pu ngam mi ko magi cargo haigera ko natra any kind of item object mana pu ngam kya me pu ngam mi in terms of ton the on do java then same as the cargo ship was so large that its total tonnage surpassed every other vessel in the harbor cargo ship le yana chawa ma mangonda sagi chanbe aba ko mangonda hape aba ne poche jingi chang kya ge matik yam gen ha ba kanda sida haiba vessels ge no patra do ko haite ko ship ni ko tong sima vessel ab je koina maritime context koina vessels koina ship anam haiga ni ko patra no koina haide pagom jo sima koi tangji sida ading sagi harbor hitang phamdu da leiba atop to jahaz me am dagi hujiki cargo ship sine yam tin chaw yam tin chaw gen haibu man sagi pubungam total ko ton capacity changje me am de lo surpass over hen to kre ham ni san yani ko next one repatriation Now, repatriation have a word, so when the part of speech when you have a kind it is a noun nama where ko adu magi meaning digano amu thado ki babani samsona the act of returning a person to their own country of origin or citizenship repatriate to baka haje koi sida India da Myanmar gi mi ma ka phare haje koi sida India da ko Manipur da haje Manipur da Myanmar gi ne national ma ka koi na phare sida kari gumba any crime ma ka chena bada ya ba adu ma je Myanmar gi mi je India da crime ma ka to bada chena me phara me ha da ju ma je mu Myanmar gi da mu halan gi ko adu the act of returning a person to their own country ko of origin habani mogi horofam oi ba sengba country do adamu halangi ba ya ba mane khangji adu synonyms yam laire return deportation natraga restoration deport to ba je khoi gi manipur da ko NGO myam jina CSOs myam jina tali ko dabi je kai tali deportation of illegal immigrants hai ya ba deportation of illegal immigrants hai adi niyom lana changai ba to lam dagi changai ba mi myam jing do mai mai gi lam jing da mafam je halan go habne ba deport to habne ba ya ba adu bani adi return amo halan ge bani restoration restore to ba adi no restore to ba hai da di magi han gi phiyom dhan man tro restore to ba magi han original state have to its original state mama sagi han gi lai ma phiyom dhan han gi ba habani ya ba ni da di mama sagi han gi phiyom dhan gi ba hai ta ga di mi ma lai ji kai de gi no adi nang na lai ba jaga da musum han habdi artazuni ko adu sense kanas odi antonyms ta opposite word ko is exile deportation demo halakadoin ko sidi mo sagine talangi ba to ki ba samsana koina ram has ram na sagi bonbas ko chali ram was sent to exile on to ram je exile dore means thadu maga maje magi lamdam je thadu maga atoba lam thagi ba musinam ya ba expatriation sinmu expatriate to ba akoi gi lamdagi atoba lamdam thagi ba banish to ba ko nang je akoi gi ne group sida yaronu nang chandre ko ai gi ne akoi gi leiriba clan sida ha si ko community je nang chandre chakro kai habdo siga samana ba da koina ostracize kai ko ostracize ostracize to re kai hata de nang je akoi gi sagai dagi akoi gi ne khun dagi ko outcast to ni kai habdo okay tan thomni kai na habne nang si khunjida nang jaga ne akoi gi sagai je ne leibu ya roi yaubu ya roi kai habne ko tan thokpa ostracize banishment duaina khoi khunji ko this context ka yawi they say little about legal assistance consular access or repatriation hare illegal immigrants in lakpani khang de natraga atopa country mi si khoi lam dala kanda any crime ko toba kanda moja phare chenare ba to pha bu du ko chenaba kanda moi da mu halan gi ba ko they say little about legal assistance legal ko assistance yamna haide ko consular access ju yamna haide o to ne moja halan gi ba sima tang yam ka ne ka su kana haina de ya ba duaina khang ji ko but a simple sentence sama same as the government organized the repatriation of its citizens so they could return home safely after the conflict broke out and had koi Iran da ko Iran ga conflict thopa kan da Iran da koi ga sagi Indian nationals myam jing go lai go on Indian nationals myam jing lai ado moi je akoi da halake kain ha ta di mai ha ji repatriation ko deportation ya ba moi je akoi lam dam halak pa adwaina khangji ko na sam samna halak pa bani magi native point ne leiba place da magi ne ko jaga ne ha ba magi asengba profam we place da halak pa halan gi ba adu ya da khangji yari ko myam next is unremunerated ha ba now unremunerated koina remuneration ha ba ni kangi remuneration tolo phangmodani paisa phangmodani koina kari gum thama tawre ha ta di tawriba thabotu gi paisa phangmodo ko kusumal phangmodo salary phangmodo aduni ko part of space da maji adjective ore ya ba adi un hada di mamang da negative ore ko adi paisa pi da ba to lo pi da ba ko thabak ti suhan ba ya ba no not rewarded not paid or compensated for the work done kari gum aina sagi mi ma kha thabak su je la on ko re sole ga ma gi sagi no mu gi tari ba ko paisa di pibi da ba ina okay kusuman do pibi da ba unremunerated adi remunerated na haiba kan da koina sagi paisa pi da ba haiba ne ba ko ba to paisa pi da ba haiba kan da atopa essence kai ga manabi ya adi free gi porama ka yaw free da to bya ba ko pro bono sin han gi hoin to gi word ma da ne yaw yawani ko pro bono free da free wena okay unpaid paisa pi da na to ta ba honorary ai hoina honorary title gain hai ko honorary title na hai ta ga di kari gumba mi ba da ne ꯃꯉꯣꯟꯗ ꯐꯝ ꯑꯃꯈꯛꯇꯤ ꯄꯤꯔꯅꯦꯕ ꯀꯣ ꯃꯉꯣꯟꯗ ꯄꯣꯁ ꯑꯃꯈꯛ ꯄꯤꯔꯅꯦꯕ ꯑꯗꯨ ꯄꯣꯁꯇꯨꯒꯤ ꯇꯨꯡꯏꯟꯅ ꯃꯉꯣꯟꯗꯁꯨ ꯗꯥꯏꯠ ꯑꯃꯈꯛ ꯂꯥꯛꯑꯅꯦꯕꯀꯣ ꯔꯦꯁꯄꯣꯟꯁꯤꯕꯤꯂꯤꯇꯤ ꯑꯃꯈꯛ ꯄꯤꯔꯅꯦꯕ ꯇꯧꯕꯇꯕꯨ ꯔꯦꯁꯄꯣꯟꯁꯤꯕꯤꯂꯤꯇꯤ ꯄꯤꯔꯤꯕ ꯅꯠꯇ꯭ꯔꯒ ꯃꯉꯣꯟꯗ ꯀꯣ ꯄꯥꯏꯍꯜꯂꯤꯕ ꯐꯝꯗꯨꯒꯤ ꯄꯩꯁꯥ ꯑꯣꯏꯅ ꯇꯣꯂꯣꯞ ꯑꯣꯏꯅ ꯁꯦꯂꯔꯤ ꯀꯣ ꯑꯣꯏꯅꯗꯤ ꯄꯤꯗꯕ ꯌꯥꯕ ꯍꯥꯏꯁꯦ ꯑꯗꯨꯕꯨꯅꯤ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯅ ꯑꯟꯔꯦꯃꯨꯅरेटेड ꯅꯠꯇ꯭ꯔꯒ ꯑꯣꯅꯔꯔꯤ ꯒ꯭ꯔꯦꯇꯨꯏꯇꯁ ꯀꯣ ꯒ꯭ꯔꯦꯇꯨꯏꯇꯁ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯅ ꯉꯁꯥꯏꯒꯤꯅꯦ ꯒ꯭ꯔꯦꯇꯨꯏꯇꯤ ꯑꯣꯏꯅ ꯄꯤꯕ ꯄꯤꯔꯤꯁꯤ ꯀꯩꯅꯣ ꯍꯥꯏꯇꯥꯔꯗꯤ ꯉꯁꯥꯏꯒꯤ ꯅꯪꯒꯤꯗ ꯀꯣ ꯄꯤꯔꯤꯕ ꯁꯦꯟꯁꯦ ꯄꯩꯁꯥ ꯑꯣꯏꯅꯗꯤ ꯄꯤꯔꯤꯅꯦꯕ ꯄꯤꯔꯤꯕ ꯅꯪꯅ ꯊꯕꯛ ꯁꯨꯔꯨꯕꯗꯨꯒꯤꯗꯤꯅꯦ ꯅꯠꯇꯕ ꯇꯣꯉꯥꯟꯕ ꯑꯣꯏꯅ ꯄꯤꯕ ꯀꯣ ꯅꯪꯒꯤ ꯊꯥꯒꯠꯃꯟ ꯑꯣꯏꯅ ꯒ꯭ꯔꯦꯇꯤꯇ꯭ꯌꯨꯠ ꯒ꯭ꯔꯦꯇꯤꯇ꯭ꯌꯨꯠ ꯁꯣ ꯇꯧꯕ ꯍꯥꯏꯕꯁꯤ ꯉꯁꯥꯏꯒꯤ ꯑꯩꯅ ꯀꯔꯤꯒꯨꯝꯕ ꯃꯤ ꯑꯃꯒꯤ ꯃꯇꯦꯡ ꯄꯥꯡꯉꯦꯕꯀꯣ ꯑꯗꯣ ꯃꯇꯦꯡ ꯄꯥꯡꯉꯤꯕꯗꯨ ꯉꯁꯥꯏꯒꯤ ꯃꯤꯗꯨꯅ ꯑꯩꯉꯣꯟꯗꯅꯦ ꯄꯩꯁꯥ ꯑꯣꯏꯅ ꯀꯣ ꯄꯤꯔꯦꯅ ꯍꯥꯏꯇꯥꯔꯗꯤ ꯑꯩꯅ ꯉꯁꯥꯏꯒꯤ ꯃꯇꯦꯡ ꯄꯥꯡꯕꯅꯦꯅ ꯍꯥꯏꯔꯣꯏꯕ ꯊꯕꯛ ꯑꯣꯏꯅ ꯁꯨꯕꯤꯕꯅꯦꯕ ꯊꯕꯛꯇꯨ ꯁꯨꯔꯀꯥꯟꯗ ꯄꯩꯁꯥ ꯐꯪꯕꯅꯦꯕ ꯇꯧꯕꯇꯕꯨ ꯑꯩꯅ ꯉꯁꯥꯏꯒꯤ ꯃꯇꯦꯡ ꯄꯥꯡꯕꯤꯔꯦ ꯍꯥꯏ ꯀꯥꯟꯗ ꯃꯤꯗꯨꯅ ꯑꯩꯉꯣꯟꯗ ꯊꯦꯡꯛꯁ ꯀꯥꯏꯅ ꯍꯥꯏꯔꯛꯄꯗꯣ ꯀꯣ ꯑꯩꯅ ꯉꯁꯥꯏꯒꯤꯅꯦ ꯃꯇꯦꯡ ꯄꯥꯡꯕꯤꯔꯤꯕꯗꯨꯒꯤ ꯑꯦꯄ꯭ꯔꯤꯁꯤꯌꯦꯁꯟ ꯄꯤꯔꯛꯄꯗꯣ ꯀꯣ ꯑꯗꯨꯒꯤ ꯐꯣꯡ ꯍꯥꯏꯁꯤꯀꯣ ꯑꯗꯨꯇꯥꯔꯗꯤ ꯄꯩꯁꯥ ꯐꯪꯕ ꯅꯠꯇꯦꯕ ꯊꯕꯛꯄꯨꯗꯤ ꯇꯧꯔꯦ ꯇꯧꯕꯇꯕꯨ ꯄꯩꯁꯥ ꯐꯪꯕ ꯅꯠꯇꯦ ꯄ꯭ꯔꯣꯕꯣꯅꯣ ꯐ꯭ꯔꯤꯗꯅꯤ ꯌꯥꯔꯦꯀꯣ ꯑꯗꯨꯃꯥꯏꯅ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏ ꯈꯪꯖꯤ ꯑꯗꯨꯗꯤ ꯁꯣꯝ ꯅꯥꯀꯟꯗ ꯐ꯭ꯔꯤꯗ ꯂꯣꯏꯅꯕꯅꯦ ꯇꯧꯔꯅꯤ ꯄꯩꯁꯥ ꯐꯪꯕꯒꯤ ꯄꯣꯠ ꯑꯃꯠꯇꯅꯦ ꯌꯥꯎꯔꯔꯣꯏꯀꯣ ꯑꯗꯨꯗꯤ ꯑꯦꯟꯇꯣꯅꯤꯝꯁꯤꯗꯤ ꯄꯩꯁꯥ ꯐꯪꯗꯣꯏꯅꯤ ꯀꯝꯄꯦꯟꯁꯦꯁꯟ ꯅꯪ ꯉꯁꯥꯏꯒꯤ ꯇꯧꯔꯤꯕꯗꯨꯒꯤꯅꯦ ꯄꯩꯁꯥ ꯐꯪꯕ ꯍꯟꯖꯤꯟꯕ ꯅꯠꯇ꯭ꯔꯒ ꯅꯉꯣꯟꯗ ꯈꯤꯇꯪ ꯑꯦꯅꯤ ꯀꯥꯏꯟ ꯑꯣꯐ ꯁꯣꯛꯑꯦ ꯄꯜꯂꯦ ꯅꯥꯔꯦ ꯍꯥꯏꯕ ꯀꯥꯟꯗ ꯑꯗꯨꯒꯤ ꯄꯩꯁꯥ ꯐꯪꯕ ꯔꯦꯃꯨꯅरेटेड ꯇꯣꯂꯣꯞ ꯄꯤꯕ ꯁꯦꯂꯔꯤ ꯇꯣꯂꯣꯞ ꯄꯤꯕ ꯂꯨꯀ꯭ꯔꯦꯇꯤꯞꯁꯤꯗꯤ ꯑꯦꯛꯆꯨꯋꯦꯂꯤ ꯁꯤ ꯃꯌꯥꯝꯁꯤꯒ ꯆꯥꯟꯅꯕ꯭ꯔꯥ ꯍꯥꯏꯔꯒꯗꯤ ꯆꯥꯟꯅꯗꯦꯀꯣ ꯈꯤꯇꯪ ꯃꯥꯁꯦ ꯍꯥꯏꯂꯤ ꯅꯕ ꯂꯨꯀ꯭ꯔꯦꯇꯤꯞ ꯍꯥꯏꯇꯥꯔꯗꯤ ꯑꯩ ꯁꯨꯃꯥꯏꯅ ꯍꯥꯏꯁꯦ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯅ ꯆꯪꯉꯤꯕ ꯖꯣꯕꯁꯦ ꯌꯥꯝꯅ ꯀꯩꯅꯣ ꯑꯣꯏ ꯍꯥꯏꯁꯦ ꯀꯩꯕ ꯂꯨꯀ꯭ꯔꯦꯇꯤꯞ ꯑꯣꯏꯕ ꯖꯒꯥꯅꯤ ꯍꯥꯏꯁꯦꯕꯀꯣ ꯑꯗꯨ ꯀꯩꯅꯣ ꯂꯨꯀ꯭ꯔꯦꯇꯤꯞ ꯑꯣꯏꯕ ꯖꯒꯥꯅꯦꯅ ꯍꯥꯏꯇꯥꯔꯗꯤ ꯃꯤꯟꯁ ꯑꯥꯏ ꯒꯦꯠ ꯕꯤꯛ ꯁꯦꯂꯔꯤꯁ ꯑꯥꯏ ꯒꯦꯠ ꯍꯥꯏ ꯁꯦꯂꯔꯤꯁ ꯍꯥꯏꯕꯅꯦꯕ ꯀꯣ ꯂꯨꯀ꯭ꯔꯦꯇꯤꯞ ꯖꯣꯕ ꯑꯃꯈꯛ ꯐꯪꯉꯦꯅ ꯍꯥꯏꯇꯥꯔꯗꯤ ꯑꯩꯁꯦ ꯇꯣꯂꯣꯞ ꯌꯥꯝꯅ ꯆꯥꯎꯕ ꯑꯩꯁꯦ ꯁꯦꯟ ꯌꯥꯝꯅ ꯐꯪꯕ ꯑꯗꯨꯒꯨꯝꯕ ꯖꯣꯕ ꯀꯣ ꯑꯃꯈꯛ ꯇꯧꯔꯦ ꯍꯥꯏꯕꯅꯦꯕ ꯑꯗꯨꯒꯤ ꯑꯥꯔꯊꯅꯤꯀꯣ ꯅꯥꯎ ꯁꯤ ꯄꯤꯔꯝꯃꯤꯕ ꯑꯟꯔꯤꯃꯨꯅरेटेड ꯀꯔꯤ ꯀꯟꯇꯦꯛꯁ ꯌꯥꯎꯏ women entered or remained in insecure informal and unremunerated agricultural work ꯍꯥꯏꯅ ꯂꯧꯎ ꯁꯤꯡꯎꯒꯤ ꯊꯕꯛ ꯇꯧꯖꯦꯕ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏ ꯐꯦꯃꯤꯂꯤꯒꯤ ꯀꯣ ꯂꯧꯗ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯅ ꯀꯨꯝꯕ ꯀꯥꯟꯗ ꯂꯧꯒꯤꯅꯦ ꯊꯕꯛ ꯁꯨꯏꯌꯦꯕꯀꯣ ꯊꯕꯛꯇꯤ ꯁꯨꯅꯤꯕ ꯄꯩꯁꯥꯗꯤ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏ ꯐꯪꯕ꯭ꯔꯥ ꯐꯪꯗꯦꯀꯣ ꯐꯦꯃꯤꯂꯤ ꯃꯦꯝꯕꯔꯁꯤꯅ ꯉꯁꯥꯏꯒꯤ ꯊꯕꯛ ꯁꯨꯕ ꯀꯥꯟꯗ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏ ꯄꯩꯁꯥ ꯐꯪꯗꯦ ꯑꯣꯠꯇ꯭ꯔ ꯁꯝꯅ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏ ꯃꯥꯗꯔ ꯍꯥꯏꯔꯁꯦ ꯃꯃꯥ ꯍꯥꯏꯔꯁꯦ ꯅꯠꯇ꯭ꯔꯒ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏ ꯋꯥꯏꯐ ꯍꯥꯏꯔꯁꯦ ꯌꯥꯕ ꯃꯣꯏ ꯉꯁꯥꯏ ꯇꯧꯔꯤꯕ ꯊꯕꯛꯁꯦ ꯄꯩꯁꯥꯗꯤ ꯐꯪꯗꯕ ꯊꯕꯛꯅꯦ ꯕꯠ ꯊꯕꯛꯇꯤ ꯀꯣ ꯊꯕꯛꯅꯦꯕ ꯃꯤ ꯑꯇꯣꯞꯄ ꯑꯃ ꯅꯦꯛꯑꯒ ꯁꯨꯍꯟꯒꯦꯅ ꯍꯥꯏꯇꯥꯔꯗꯤ ꯄꯩꯁꯥ ꯄꯤꯗꯣꯏꯅꯤꯀꯣ ꯕꯠ ꯃꯣꯏꯅ ꯁꯨꯔꯤꯕ ꯊꯕꯛꯇꯨꯒꯤꯗꯤ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏ ꯄꯩꯁꯥ ꯄꯤꯗꯦꯕ ꯑꯗꯨꯃꯥꯏꯅ ꯑꯟꯔꯤꯃꯨꯅरेटेड एग्रीकल्चरल वर्क ꯂꯧꯗ ꯀꯨꯝꯕ ꯀꯥꯟꯗꯅꯦ ꯊꯕꯛ ꯁꯨꯔꯤꯗꯣ ꯐꯦꯃꯤꯂꯤ ꯃꯦꯝꯕꯔꯉꯩ ꯃꯌꯥꯝꯗꯣ ꯄꯨꯜꯂꯀꯥꯟꯗ ꯁꯨꯃꯤꯟꯅꯩꯌꯦꯅ ꯍꯥꯏꯇꯥꯔꯗꯤ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏ ꯃꯁꯦꯟꯗꯤ ꯀꯣ ꯇꯣꯂꯣꯞꯇꯤ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏ ꯄꯤꯅꯗꯦꯗꯅ ꯑꯗꯨꯃꯥꯏꯅ ꯑꯗꯨꯒꯤ ꯁꯦꯟꯁꯇ ꯍꯥꯏꯕ ꯋꯥꯅꯤ ꯁꯦꯟꯇꯦꯟꯁ ꯑꯃ ꯁꯦꯝꯃꯁꯤ ꯁꯤ ꯁ꯭ꯄꯦꯟ ꯃꯟꯊs doing unremunerated volunteer work at a clinic before being offered a paid job ꯍꯥꯏꯅ ꯍꯥꯏꯔꯦ ꯌꯥꯕ ꯀ꯭ꯂꯤꯅꯤꯛ ꯑꯃꯈꯛ ꯍꯥꯡꯉꯦ ꯀ꯭ꯂꯤꯅꯤꯛꯁꯤꯗ ꯉꯁꯥꯏꯒꯤ ꯃꯥꯁꯦ ꯈꯤꯇꯪ ꯑꯦꯛꯁꯄꯤꯔꯤꯌꯦꯟꯁ ꯈꯤꯇꯪ ꯇꯥꯟꯒꯦꯅ ꯀꯣ ꯍꯥꯏꯔꯁꯤꯀꯣ ꯑꯦꯛꯁꯄꯤꯔꯤꯌꯦꯟꯁ ꯈꯤꯇꯪ ꯇꯥꯟꯒꯦꯅ ꯍꯥꯏꯕꯒꯤꯗꯃꯛꯇ ꯃꯥꯁꯦ ꯂꯥꯛꯄꯁꯤꯗ ꯉꯁꯥꯏ ꯃꯥꯁꯦ ꯊꯕꯛꯁꯦ ꯐ꯭ꯔꯤꯗ ꯁꯨꯝꯅꯦ ꯇꯧꯕ ꯀꯣ ꯚꯣꯂꯨꯟꯇꯤꯌꯔꯒꯤ ꯃꯑꯣꯡꯗ ꯐ꯭ꯔꯤꯗ ꯑꯣꯏꯅ ꯇꯧꯔꯦ ꯀꯣ ꯑꯗꯣ ꯉꯁꯥꯏ ꯑꯦꯛꯁꯄꯤꯔꯤꯌꯦꯟꯁ ꯇꯥꯟꯒꯦꯅ ꯍꯥꯏꯔ ꯀꯥꯟꯗ ꯑꯗꯨꯗꯤ ꯃꯥꯁꯦ ꯑꯦꯛꯁꯄꯤꯔꯤꯌꯦꯟꯁꯁꯤ ꯒꯦꯟ ꯇꯧꯔꯦ ꯑꯦꯛꯁꯄꯤꯔꯤꯌꯦꯟꯁ ꯒꯦꯟ ꯇꯧꯔꯀꯥꯟꯗ ꯃꯥꯁꯦ ꯊꯕꯛ ꯑꯃꯈꯛ ꯐꯪꯈ꯭ꯔꯦꯕꯅꯤ ꯑꯗꯨꯒ ꯍꯥꯟꯅꯗꯤ ꯑꯟꯔꯤꯃꯨꯅरेटेड ꯑꯣꯏꯅ ꯇꯣꯂꯣꯞ ꯂꯧꯗꯕꯤꯗ ꯄꯩꯁꯥ ꯐꯪꯗꯕꯤꯗ ꯌꯥꯔꯦꯀꯣ ꯂꯥꯁ ꯋꯥꯟ ꯂꯣꯏꯔ ꯃꯥꯜꯂꯦ 5 ꯁꯨꯔꯕ unremunerated 1 2 3 4 5 okay 5 ꯁꯨꯔꯝꯃꯦꯀꯣ so these are the 5 words for today ꯑꯗꯣ ꯁꯤꯗ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯅ ꯈꯪꯗꯣꯏꯁꯦ ꯑꯟꯀꯃꯟꯁꯦ ꯔꯤꯀꯣꯆꯦꯠ ꯑꯅ ꯍꯥꯏꯕꯁꯦ ꯁꯤꯁꯤꯃ ꯑꯟꯀꯃꯟ ꯑꯣꯏꯀꯣ ꯑꯗꯨꯅ ꯁꯤꯃ ꯈꯪꯁꯤ ꯑꯗꯨꯅ ꯔꯤꯀꯣꯆꯦꯠꯁꯤꯒꯤ ꯑꯃꯨꯛ ꯑꯟꯀꯃꯟ ꯑꯣꯏꯕꯗ ꯒ꯭ꯂꯥꯟꯁ ꯑꯅ ꯍꯥꯏꯕ ꯋꯥꯔꯗꯁꯤꯒ ꯑꯟꯀꯃꯟ ꯑꯣꯏꯀꯣ ꯑꯗꯣ ꯃꯣꯏꯁꯦ ꯀꯥꯏꯗ ꯌꯨꯁ ꯇꯧꯏ ꯍꯥꯏꯕꯗꯨ ꯃꯈꯣꯏꯅ ꯍꯧꯖꯤꯛ ꯑꯥꯔꯊ ꯄꯤꯈꯤꯕ ꯀꯟꯇꯦꯛꯁꯁꯤꯃ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏ ꯅꯤꯡꯁꯤꯡꯁꯤꯀꯣ ꯑꯗꯨꯅ ꯁꯤ ꯃꯣꯏꯁꯦ ꯑꯟꯀꯃꯟ ꯑꯣꯏꯕꯅꯤꯅ ꯑꯦꯛꯖꯥꯝꯗ ꯍꯪꯕ ꯌꯥꯏ ꯁꯤꯁꯤꯃ ꯄꯥꯎꯈꯨꯝꯁꯦ ꯑꯗ ꯑꯩꯅ ꯉꯁꯥꯏ ꯍꯥꯏꯈ꯭ꯔꯦ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏ ꯄꯦꯁꯦꯖ ꯑꯃ ꯁꯦꯝꯃꯦꯀꯣ ꯄꯦꯁꯦꯖ ꯑꯃ ꯁꯦꯝꯃꯦ RC ꯑꯃ ꯁꯦꯝꯃꯦꯀꯣ ꯑꯗꯨꯒꯤ ꯑꯥꯔꯇꯤꯀꯜꯗꯨꯅꯤ ꯀꯣꯠ ꯑꯣꯟ ꯀꯦꯃꯦꯔꯥꯅ ꯍꯥꯏꯔꯤꯕ ꯑꯥꯔꯇꯤꯀꯜꯗꯣ ꯄꯨꯂꯤꯁ brutality was on public display at the Jantar Mantar protest ꯍꯥꯏꯕꯅꯦꯕꯀꯣ ꯁꯤꯗꯒꯤ ꯁꯦꯝꯃꯛꯄ RC ꯅꯤ ꯑꯗꯨꯅ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯅ ꯍꯥꯏꯔꯦ RC ꯁꯣꯜቭ ꯇꯧꯕꯒꯤꯗꯤ the first thing is we have to go through the questions ꯀꯣ ꯀꯣꯏꯁꯟ ꯍꯥꯟꯅ ꯌꯦꯡꯁꯤ ꯑꯗꯨꯒ ꯄꯦꯁꯦꯖ ꯀꯣꯟꯅ ꯄꯥꯁꯤ ꯍꯥꯏꯕꯅꯤ ꯀꯣꯏꯁꯟꯗꯒꯤ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯅ ꯈꯪꯕ ꯌꯥꯕ ꯀꯔꯝꯕ ꯍꯤꯟꯁꯤꯡ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏ ꯌꯥꯎꯏ ꯀꯤꯋꯥꯔꯗꯁꯤꯡ ꯌꯥꯎꯏ ꯍꯥꯏꯕꯗꯣ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏ ꯊꯤꯖꯤ ꯍꯥꯏꯕꯅꯤꯀꯣ ꯑꯗꯨꯗꯤ ꯍꯥꯟꯅ ꯄꯥꯔꯁꯤ everyone let's look at the questions first which of the following best states the main purpose of the passage ꯄꯦꯁꯦꯖꯁꯤꯅ ꯄꯤꯅꯤꯡꯉꯤꯕ ꯃꯥꯒꯤ ꯃꯦꯟ ꯑꯣꯏꯕ ꯄꯥꯟꯗꯝ ꯃꯦꯟ ꯑꯣꯏꯕ ꯄꯔꯄꯁꯇꯣ ꯁꯤꯒꯤ ꯄꯤꯔꯤꯕ ꯁ꯭ꯇꯦꯠꯃꯦꯟ ꯃꯌꯥꯝꯁꯤꯅ ꯀꯔꯝꯕꯅꯤ ꯍꯦꯟꯅ ꯇꯥꯛꯈꯤꯕꯅꯤ ꯑꯗꯨꯁꯨ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏ ꯄꯨꯂꯞ ꯏꯟ ꯆꯟ ꯑꯥꯎꯠ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏ ꯄꯥꯗꯕ ꯌꯥꯔꯣꯏꯀꯣ ꯁꯦꯀꯦꯟ ꯋꯥꯟ ꯏꯁ Based on the passage, which of the following can be inferred regarding the author's perspective on the recent crackdown? Passage to tungina. Passage the pyramid by Harmi Bibsigi tungina. Aibazina, Puduni Magi Mot Amakutine. Or Layaba, I didn't say Magi Moto, Handel to Hiba recent crackdown to the Magi Mot say Kariniana Lobiage. Ibani. Yakomia. Next is, why does the author cite the incidents at Jamia Mila Islamia 2019 and JNU 2020 in the second paragraph? Paragraph ani subada ayi bazine Jamia sida thokiba incident 2019 gi adu JNU da thokiba incident 2020 kari gi tamuta palino bane ode ko sima atagati ko yabisma ko quota. According to the passage, all of the following are supported by the text except abne ko sumu ko hangi ko nasagi passage ane loinabati yaba sima khak natan haba loinabati yaba adu sima yada means nasai ko true false form daga hangudani ko true false form daga hangudani statement atay myam sida loinabati passage chumena hamaga sima khatang yaudaba lan ba jaga do karabano kaina hangudani ko smaina accept kaina hana kajo hangi adi si jumu koi adabi yawre ko yengaji. Question number 5. The author describes the crackdown on protesters demonstrating against paper leaks as marking a new low in this trend. What does this phrase imply in the context of the passage? So the phrase may have a new low in this trend and hierarchy. See the context passage to na kari haina arta handu ino bani. Yeah, go there. So let's go to the passage. Passage koi parji. Yengaji. May July hai ma'am. Tatu jare koi RC pa ho proposal may July. Na. Ode koi parji ko. The massive use of force by the Delhi police and unidentified people on student protesters in the national capital clearly breached all known protocols of crowd control. The massive use of force, Delhi police na, and unidentified people. Masak masak khang the mi ju me ama yauri ko Canada tawa on students. Protest of Moimi, Miamjin lady, and Namana Satra, Nathani who's a queen CJP, Cockroach Janata Party High Cockroach Janata Party, Moina Toriba. Okay, protestuni. Protestuna Kaino Hakanda Meli Moina Toriba, protesticano, Dimani, very Dimano and have a kanda, Union Education Minister Zimazi Pamtada U Habani. But over the book, the Sigi big news Amana, Mazigo resign Taurequa. Okay, Nasiguena, Sagi CJP in Yamkan Taliba. Dharmendra Pradhan Haiba, Sise, resign to one have a education minister give him the empire no, Nanzi unfit or have a nebuco. Okay, incompetent or have any. So today he has already resigned. Maziko resigned to negotiation here. And then Singasi, big thing, and Sagi big achievement mechanic. You know, Hakanda, Quigilam, a quail label Zigano. India and Haibalam, that's under even Sarkaki, Mosiki Haikuna. Democracy high court. All this democracy na have a kind the real head city canano public neighbor or Prazas never Yavaze. Or the Prazas in the Yadin had the Mogi same a colleague Nico. I the Mogi Hibada Tatobani have a name Yavaze. Or the Mogi Hibada Tatobani and Hidadi, Prazamiam na Pandre, Paintre and Hidadi. The government must listen to its people have a neighbor. Or Sakazi Mamagi, Prazas in Duki, Pamu Pam to Tadon have a neighbor. Waduna Tarak have the gi, protest Yamatore. Tobuni Adumazo Handokre, Yavaze. And a Sigim Matansda, protest over an gentleman to give the police in an air, to river daily police use or by excessive force. Lady, but some sack on the Mizumi Amani Yauri to Wakanda, protest or rivers had the sense in approval to Iverco, physical assault of Yamazing Yauri. Season makes an attack in the national capital, Delida, clearly breeds of Dino, Lantoba, Yadabado, Toba, all known protocols of crowd control. Crowd control to again have a game Yamane. Kanava, ko Chia the Targane, labor, bylaws Yauba, Adumane, systems into Amata Indre, have never. To Garaga, Adugi Wamada, for Hinzanba Yamzing to Raven. After its initial Horopoki Hamagi, reluctance. Kitan hesitation, Namakaliba, hesitate over reluctance, hesitant river. Toning Jero, Taujira, Tawumjira, Hijira, Hagumjira Kanmudo. The Supreme Court of India has now agreed to hear complaints of police excesses. See, excesses and have a kai jaga da use togen hebani hen ba sita namana maje negative aspect da use togi ko kawgum sima excess na baje negative aspect da use togi audi negative aspect haiba kanda police ki excess na da police ki excess use of force na hebani ko police na use ne tobom thok taba enjan na use ko togi ba aduma forcing na hebani anu kawgum ji excess khoi hen bane na haita ji hele ji kaidana kanda ko negative aspect da lowa jaga da haina gani ko on Monday July tangkun tereta Monday da ko hayeng asigi Monday sa ne Supreme Court na sagi complaint myam jing le ba ko police ki against ta ba ja dugi complaint myam matara ni case myam do hearing to ne meanwhile maksida multiple video clips that have surfaced online show personal PRSONNEL jin mi duni ko aduga PERSONAL duna isagi ha bani ko NEN jina mi duni both in uniform and in normal clothes video clips myam jing ne thole ba tholo jage do uniform set ba sibai jing adu ne normal dress da civilian man ba tabu do civilian dine nattaba ko protest ori ba mi myam do against da tabu do ne tabu sini using violence with an apparent intent apparent man ba ko appear at the face value intention aina khallaga to ba ko to harm sohan ba and yare terrorize kino kihan ba aki ba tujung ba ko phawhan ba okay protest myam jung da sa da sinu da aki ba khang ba ko phawhan ba adugum rather than to disperse them noi sida dharna tawri ba ko rally chaken haido chalo tawgunu ya den haiba gini tan khai ba khakine nattaba tan khai ba khaki ko nattaba dharna yawla ba on ne rally chapa yawla hindo ko hadi moida aki akhang pi gen haiba gi mong da khallaga lakpa sibai jing ado ne sibai gi ne saklon da ko civilian dressing selaga lakpa mi sing myam yawri ban okay some says go have sustained pellet injury pellet maru karamba ko maru no hakan koina ergan daga haba ko maru macam sa ko pellet haita yaba pellet injuries yab pale soe ko sadenje kai dagi non haita di that the police and authorities have yet to explain police mu hajina koi khangdi sin ko chatra ngasagi dharna toriba ko rally chaliba yawri myam ne pellet injury pale ko yawre ba kana kapin habje moi khangdaba ko police ju haibang amje ko yabaise aduna sagi civil dress laiba ko uniform dress set taba missing laido moising ju ko hai myam doi moju role myam yawri hebani aduna have yet to explain to whatever wali yet in one video an identifiable senior official of the Delhi police seen slapping for a girl who was standing nearby was slapping skubak tabani but bodo slap on the wrist kind of hai ko idiom da slap on the wrist at the kudang hai petang thaba salang thaba adudi kaine ba khoina mild punishment kind of ko mild punishment slap on the wrist kind of koi idiom lei ko si exam do ji he hangi ya usma ita adi who was standing nearby in another an unidentified person in she dress selakan do lei ko with 3 stars star whom is in poking do digino kundaga ne kak tinmado ko inmado ko intubagi monda okay with force use ne ko torkan kunna inma tinmado do a girl from behind while she was walking away in the third video person are seen surrounding a girl with one of them groping her while others groping to digino kunsanba ko kunsanba embrace wise kunsanba da sai kitang improper way da ko improper way da kunsanba improper layers na kaino karim na bagi mong da ko miyeng ase like kitang immoral way bane ko miyeng da immoral yema khada yeng ba immoral lu ka ase ko ani sagi mi jana engon da sagi ne yeng ba ko yam ka ta hangoi bagi ko mong da ne yeng ba ko yam na ne handana khala kan da yeng ba ko yeng do ida sida haji myam jeno police ki exercise myam da ne ko police na tawriba myam do masagi moi dharna to bada yauri ba onta ne release of the sa changa ta ne ba ko ya ba sa chama yam na sai tawriba je ko exercise myam da ne ba ya ba je so ko khang idea ma some people not in uniform sedaba but wearing helmets are seen in video clips on social media beating protesters and have police dress is setaba but the helmet upa means police na upa ko RAF na ga upa on to CHSL na upa do helmet upa video clip da uye ba ko protesters myam da phu ba je ba to ba uye ba Some have been caught on camera carrying sticks with long nails. Okay, see the way ugre ko cover the powder the question yam ugre. Say le say is again your piece tin ko your piece na matter ha some. Or seen a kanta the me the the atamana halagi na have never. Ko on the yam tina grievous injury peer gave never grievous yam tina soul again have never. Say in have them pubu dum so never. But the was your pig hapsale and had the yam tina soul again having intent yauri have never. Ko once again police man la kanda mob to on the crowd to mob na have the mugo when no yaro mob and have a crowd and have a teniko mob and crowd of angry people have any go mob na hada there. Once again when Urjano Satamam do really the way peaceful ina really never. Although when a second story they're not the peaceful never. Other say the moina use of force yam excessive way have never. While others are seen smashing vehicles for Gari Bodo, Tuabo Mamsing Yaw, but this is hard to Mamma over Amuko Sahali Neva. Yaba, Hadoriba me at Opa Hitako, Kuniki Mizimiam Yorim. All this happened while the protesters were bearing a stray incident or two. Stray Digano, Tongana, but a Mam Dugane, Pundaba, Tongana Labor, called stray incident, Tongana labor. Ado Ama Nika Natana, where peaceful means. Really, ma'am, do Aduane, Tauribane, Dana ma'am, do Loiba Anamane, peaceful oil, except Ama Anik Natana, stray incident, ma'am, do Puludaba, Tongana, Taki, when I drop, stray bullet and I drop, stray bullet means Kangdaba, Hydroba, Maru Hado, God, stray bullet, and Sagi, ma'am, do any Pundaba, Habitan Tongana Tabako, incident, Amanik Natana. Those who unleash violence, unleash the Gano, Hadarabado, Hidarabakaziko, unleash violence, whether authorized police personnel or vigilantes. Vigilante and Hata Digano. Sagi vigilance has supervised over. What does surveillance over? Team of my tiny. In labor. In Salaga Sena labor. In Salaga Sena labor, I do but team using and having call. Vigilantes Nama who infiltrated Yausanba to join over. Infiltrated the protest member need to be identified. So, Kato pursue Tanagadavani accountable ko mo sa gini dandi mo tanga sa gino na tori budo lale have to fix ama tawadam ham ya ba ko na pursue a course and hai ko pursue a course and hai but tawu tana ba ju ko ko na ni ma ka phage na ko tana ju ko na pursue hai ko sai sidang che sa ba gi element mo ko yawi chasing tana gi ha ba gi che so gi element mo ko yawi ko ne sai the police violence against ko students process in Delhi followed a pattern hai je Rana and the Tohiba, Tohiba, Ko, Satra, Namsinda, police and Toriba, violence. This is the pattern collection. The pattern means Mamang the Sumbane incident like 2020. A mob entered the JNU campus and attacked Tanazing students even as the police looked away. JNU campus, the CAA, CAA, Citizenship Amendment Act and High Court, and the CAA, Matang the Tohiba, Ko, protesting Miamda. Mob amazing Helene, as how missing a crowd of angry people. Ko, Kujula Parakan the Saturday campus, JNU campus, and Suzalakan the Saturday attack, Tohiba. Police usually, Aduga, police in Sanadi looked away. Ko, Cousin Dubs Haraga, Hedo Tuana, like no serious investigation or arrest followed. Sigitundas, I Satam, I'm showing you. So Tazo say poverty who might have a canam that means Sakana Yahan Bani Habi sense of Yauriba. Similar Amada in 2019, personnel of the Delhi police entered the library of Jamia, Millia, Islamia, and beat up Sada Singh during the protest against the CA. Okay, so similarly. Police ki meeting, Delhi police ki meeting ne Jamia Millia, Islamia ki library manu the Changa and Sada Singh prove Mamsing Yogi Visibuda. I think it's pattern je manari hamida sarkar jana sagi sponsor to bagi muong amak yari hamida eba sarkar na ko sagi violence noi use oro abagi ayaba amak pi habi sense amak yari the crackdown digeno sagi muji control to gen have to go the crackdown on Sadra Jingda ko dhana toriba ko really toriba demonstrating against recurring the hanjana thoba recurring paper leaks in various examination mark a new law in this trend a new law in this trend thak yang thin handar reba ko taksam thina handana tawrebani tawje police na abdi police na sagi police thak am handagre hamida moi jeng sagi ne public safety ki damata legadaba meeting je khune ki type da ko gangster mi type da mina ga ni niega ne ko paisa ga ne pira kanda noi si je haidi meeting je phuru so power so kana ha kana ni pya bi mo haidi moi je dignity lejadaba ko moi je self esteem ne lejadaba adugi mati low status ta leiba ma ko oi re singa je aduna new law in this trend haida ke no sa sing sing sai gi control to gen ha ba kanda police na ne violence use to ba je sigi trend a new law ko anova handaba thak yam thina handaba ni ma ba ya ko there is no evidence that the who included teenagers, families with toddlers, and women were involved in large-scale violence that warranted the level of police forces. Toddlers, toddlers di kanano. Ang mga sasing ni ko, chatpa chumna, pasanda hijriba, haitare ko. Okay, pasanda chatpa hijriba, ang sing toddlers na heaven. Were involved in large-scale violence that warranted di kano ayaba piba. Ko, authorized over. Okay, warranted, authorized over. Authorize the level of police force use. It is heartening means this heartening hata di thamoi choning hai oi. Heartening means sai khoi da no encouragement ma khati piri encouraging oi kari that the Chief Justice of India has clarified that is earlier han bagi kai ware reluctance hesitant ko oi bodo to hear the complaints aha bana sagi Supreme Court of India gine Chief Justice say police ki against the complaints me ama thangal da sai ma je casing je ko taw have ma ha ma da ya de do mana sectori kaino was only technical in nature bane ba ko moina tharai bane complaint me am do sai ne technical ba have the basis ama yaudi di haidaba yaudi bataboda bu ko tharai ba o cha hainari wa je ko niom kitang soi la len haibagi matang da khakni in nature and the court is open to those who seek justice ado sagi achumaran thire ba ko achumaran pami ba mijing de the court se open dum oi ham the court now has therefore has before it two petitions documenting the nature and extent of the force used by the police and army. On this Supreme Court ki mamang do jene tar jike no case ani khak tar lere kari case non have kanda police na use to giba force to kyam yam ne hinjana to gi ado kamai na use to no karamba mawongi force no kanana ayaba pibono sigi matang je khana na ba case ani khalere. There must be a thorough investigation to find out exactly who was involved and whether the use of force was authorized and proportionate. There must be special attention paid to complaints of assaults of a sexual nature and to those targeting women and children. Those found guilty must face the full force of the law. Yani ko siboba. Ade koi digest koi tore. Basis na hiding is a kaino and then magi tone or the magi a process kaino na. As no koi charpa mo kangiko. Ade kangam now. Let's look at the questions. The question which of the following best states the main purpose of the passage? May I try to be the passage? Siddhapi is the question number 1. The answer is main of the purpose to criticize the judiciary's initial delay in intervening during student-led peaceful demonstrations in Delhi. Hi, Dora. Judiciary na intervene to the thing the giver. Ado do yam thin patti. To highlight systematic law enforcement excesses against Sadasingda and advocate for accountability and judicial scrutiny. See, Gasingam Kamaina B yes. See, the two argue that vigilante groups have completely taken over police duties during public control operations in the capital. Extreme words in Yahweh they will not be a part of our answer. This is a completely kind of word. See, extreme extreme word or the extreme when C has a C parts no answer where is Margaret Sang Thames would be Hareko. Parina zu be Hare, Sagar zu be Hare, Nelson zu be Hare. Okay, now never be Hareko. Now, to analyze the historical progression of student protest movements in Delhi since 2019. The answer is B. Okay. Next, based on the passage, which of the following can be inferred regarding the author's perspective on the recent crackdown? Natabino su 1B harame ko yes chume. Amu sigi second question jimu yengaji. Which one is going to be the answer? The actions taken by the law enforcement agencies were a necessary reaction to mitigate large-scale violence caused by infiltrating mobs. Can be inferred regarding the author's perspective. Recent crackdown against the infer the actions taken by the law enforcement agencies were a necessary reaction. Necessary way. The same kamai B, Margaret should be Natabino should be Herego. The level of violence used was disproportionate. Mane Sanadre as the primary objective appeared to be intimidation. Intimidate over Hadigano, Akiba, Honbako. Intimidation rather than crowd management. Now intimidation hare, says the Ibadana E. Terrorize he got, terrorize and he got. Akiba, Kanganba, Honba, Yaraba. So Bizio Male, Tamizing the police were legally justified in using non-lethal weapons like pellets due to the presence of unauthorized carry. Sida hide hide DD. The judiciary's initial reluctance to hear the petitions indicated a permanent refusal to interfere in the administrative matters. So permanent kind of this extreme warning. For permanent kind of extreme warning is not simo or the answer to how this is not a C not a D not a B will go. Namzume. Nelson Zubi hare, Sagar Zubi hare. Okay. And I know that RC hang with the RC is the Koidum Yamaba Hayrenico. Any exam hang any exam the mostly banking or get on SSC or get RC is the Koina Munabasana Pava Hitaragadi, which is any hangmada. Inference based hangera. Okay, any honey from the RC is the Agi mode in Hita, the Benbook by Nicalico. On RC, the 10% Pangnaba Bonasico. Now the third question. Why does the author cite the incidents at Jamia Millia Islamia 2019 and JNU 2020 in the second passage? Kay the mata mana sai si palinos. Okay, say kinagre ko pa kare kay the mata palmuno. Either to provide context showing that the recent police violence is part of an ongoing, recurrent pattern rather than an isolated event. Recurrent to one jana. Police na sai ki sarjing against an tawriba atrocities me amashi hanjana tawba. Tongana khandoga yeng the zoo yaba. O tongan tangadaba isolated event ma natte habama. Parina A Herego. Nelson A Hare. Margaret A Hare. The same coming A Hare. Okay, Tabino A Herego. Sagar A Hare, yes. Amadi, to compare the severity of past protests with the current demonstration against papalicity oidre, to demonstrate that past judicial intervention successfully deterred police misconduct in subsequent years. Successfully carried oidre extremely. To prove that these were the sole perpetrators of sole extremely the answer is A. Then fourth one. According to the passage, of all of the following are supported by the text. Support except the support of the means land. Passage land authors wants the perspective the land the Chief Justice of India clarified that his earlier hesitation to take up the matter was strictly procedural technical. Strictly video evidence shows both uniformed personnel and non-uniformed individuals actively engaging in violence against the protesters. CD. The Supreme Court has ruled that the police force used during the protest was completely unauthorized and illegal. CD completely CD or the high double C the demographic composition of this included women, teenagers and families with young children. CD yawe. CD high or the high na have never except yaudaba or the kaitare. D zima koi daregadum yaure Biju adum kakra yaure. C ne do is yaure or the yauda vita di kabwera. Yes, C where go member. Kiratabino su C hare, the same kami C hare, Margaret C hare, Nelson C hare, Sagar C hare. To make answer is C here. Except bana have never yaudaba. Last one. The author describes the crackdown on this, demonstrating against paper leaks as marking a new law in this trend. A new law, a novel by the Animatani, Sigi trains the K train no, police and Sagi Sada in the violence, Mamatovo, excessive use of force in Toba. The intensity and nature of the violence targeted an overwhelmingly non-violent group, aggravating a bad precedent of impunity. Precedent example have been present example. Duna unprecedented can have the example late impunity. Impune palm daba means like opposing with the impunity. Opposing with the against labor yadaba against. The protest had reached the lowest number of student participants compared to previous movements. The police department reached its lowest operational budget during these events. The paper leak issue was less significant than the legislative grievances of 2019 and 2020. Notabinot A, Sagar A, Kaisingam Kamay A, Margaret Santhem A. Yes, the intensity and nature of violence targeted an overwhelmingly non-violent group, aggravating a bad example of impunity. Yes, is in the police is tag am thina handagreba sagi minaga niya kanda sisi matawon haiba kanda adu bai thag toina handagreba moji sida dekhoi yes ana smaina koi passage ma yengba kanda koina analyze toba kanda koi wahai singju koi khara khangore okay ngasi ju khara khangore doga khangori ba myam jingje magi meaning mana bada si lere adu gane manda bada si lere adu maji kari context use wi haba koi khangai so smaina koina every day words in the koina machine thi targadi adu madi yang but yami myam ju koina context toina use hamne ko picture tawjebani koina chimpa ka tang thaba to nattaba koina moji kai kai jaga da use ne to bi yai habno khang ji duga khabars da gi koina question je extract tawjen habane ko kamaina hang biya ge habane to forms da koi semji adu no mo smaina koina khang kan da koi exam je koi exam ge ne ko scenario je koi mind dum ne chuhan na koi kona je habane ya ko myam Listen, sir, Marak Thana, current affairs and newspaper na taba kai kai da pabya age. Radhavino so yamsun ngai sir class. Thank you, Radhavino. Thank you. Nelson na hai jina ne say newspapers di khwai digi ne keno ne biggest source ni ko. Mayam na newspapers je nattaba to bojane panai pani se kedam compile to bodu moina pabai ne ko. Compile to kana form ne journalism yam ne yawe ko lei ba. Adon sai ki compile to je kai digi no khabar dagi ngakta ne ba. अना अना हनीबदने नोइना खबर पाबा ngame hai taragadi ko khabar je daily ko adum ne pabiyo exam tha gen haine ne pabiyo ko pabiragadi atoba source ni jeng dru ya kauno sima journals koina phongi ba myam je manli phongi jing je khabar dagi roi mane khumjalaga dum phongi ne kauno sima ko no sagi noina khabar jibu daily no magine just pung 1 hour dang ko kai thogane pabiba ngame hai tadi update myam je loina ba phangani da. So my best advice would be to stick to the newspaper only. Ko atoba sources theaters yare. Kaino da atoba source and have je. When khabar je pa do time do phang de na habi de mata ko samjal kanda. Pa bani tis newspaper pa ba hita ba je adum her ka doini. Aina hujinoi da jin akoin extract ko torokanda same draw. Extract toroga same ba sumaina ne aina jo adum hajane khara sumaina pa biyo na ko pa biyo na haba kanda noi da aina ba mang ne la ka ne do khang da bu di akoin ajane khangdaba lakdi ko ko ji hangnaji hajani ko daw leba jaga do sini have the hangnaji ba I don't like music sir okay music ba pam daba ko aduna side amani do sagi koina pa bagi haina bi amadi ko thamji ko do kegono habdi koi exam tha jin haina to bosine nungai bit oin le dum ai budi dum ko sembirakani nyam gi de mata ko adum ne sembirakani ko experiencing de mata aduga questions faina hangba yai to wang faina hangba yai ai adum leini ko adum leini myam de mata smaina koina semba yai smaina hangba yai do noina khangdaba do hangu adu hanga kanda sini do ko khamina ko tanaji adu ko tani ana nasi gi myam sibo da yarne na khale so I think we had a good time ko like koina phangriba 1 hour ni ko so 1 hour da koi phangau ba ba koi gyan de koi phangau re na ko khale ana sai purposefully koi use of 7 ko this is tauzi and hayeng di Sunday na off ko lerji aduga Monday do mo thinarji ma'am. Once again, thank you all for your time. Critical start to dinate to jam nungai sir gi sumbe analysis say this is for all go, this is for all. Nyang gi mutani ko. Loina bani anyone who is interested. Nasagi exam thani ba kanda khabar source moina kamaina khangji kamaina paji ge na bje nyang ko mi myam gi mutani semi je adona myam na ju ko bira kanda support to ba bje it's also a part of any encouragement ko akoda ju yam ni hena amuke hena mu hena ko new ways myam thiraga aidi sada ji gi mata ko khari hena line kan bya ba kaudana ba means ko ju mutia ko deni. Okay ma'am, thank you all ko. Good night, see you on Monday again.